We all live to belong, to feel wanted. It's a fundamental primal need, as natural and essential as breathing. To belong is to be acknowledged and accepted for who you are, and to know that your voice counts.
As someone who isn't Christian, I feel like an outsider looking in when Christian holy days and celebrations are honored.
A doctor once told me that treating patients who were gay was just something I had to deal with. It made me feel that the only way to be accepted was to identify as heterosexual.
Want to feel truly irrelevant in a male-dominated field? Don't just be a woman, be an aging woman.
Working in an environment where you feel that you're not respected as a person makes you feel worthless.
For many years, I felt like I had really no choice but to chemically straighten my hair if I wanted to be accepted by my peers.
When someone tells me that they don't see color, I feel like they're saying that my race isn't important.
As an introvert, I often feel out of place among my more outspoken, extroverted colleagues.
Exclusion is often unintended, and we are almost always unconscious of it. That's why building an inclusive culture begins with the active acceptance of others for who they are, without exception, without judgment, so that no one need fear being ignored, overlooked, or passed over. It takes a determination on the part of all of us to make everyone feel welcome. An intent, an action, a conscious effort. It's the way we build belonging. And it starts with you. Culture. It isn't limited to race and ethnicity, though we often think it is. It is the set of experiences, family traditions, individual heritage, and community membership that is unique to every person. And it's easy to think we know someone based on our assumptions about their culture. But each person is unique. And culture is not a fixed set of defined rules. If we treat it as such, our assumptions can lead us to create obstacles for others that we may not see.
One of my close friends at work identifies as gender non-binary and wants to be referred to with the pronouns they, them, or theirs. Coworkers, however, continue to use pronouns such as she or her. My friend is afraid to say anything about it for fear of being seen as a troublemaker.
Assuming that we know or understand someone based on our generalizations about their culture can be faulty and dangerous. It can lead us to misunderstanding, miscommunication, and mistakes. These assumptions can leave others feeling like outsiders and negatively impact workplace interactions, educational environments, and patient care.
I had a patient from India who was suffering from anemia. I was talking to her about the best way to get iron into her diet with the assumption that she was a vegetarian. After a few minutes, she asked me, couldn't I just eat more red meat? I could have asked a question about her diet instead of making an assumption about her culture, and the question would have helped me provide better care.
Many of the people with whom I've interacted have basically conflated the term race with ethnicity and sex with the term gender. It seems like everyone who isn't a member of a majority group is just lumped under the term minority.
One of my colleagues told me that he was surprised I'm lesbian because I dress like a woman. It's almost as if he would have been more comfortable with me being lesbian if I looked the way lesbians are supposed to look.
I'm of Hispanic origin and was told that the only reason I was hired here was because I speak Spanish, even though that's not a requirement of my job.
One of my supervisors made it clear that he thinks women should be more feminine, and that when they are confident and express their opinions openly, it's off-putting.
When I was trying to decide which graduate studies to pursue, an academic advisor pushed me toward a math specialty, in spite of the fact that I had no desire to pursue studies in math. He indicated that I might be good at numbers because I have an Asian last name.
Cultural sensitivity begins with the understanding that we can't stand in someone else's shoes, and that culture is as varied and multi-layered as each individual. But while we can't live someone else's story, we can approach others with humility and kindness, with the willingness to listen and understand. By checking our assumptions at the door and believing others when they talk about their experiences, we find the humanity that is our common thread. Conflict. It's a natural part of daily life. The dynamic of any relationship involves people who see the world differently, based on their ideas, expectations, culture, beliefs, and backgrounds. When conflict occurs, either through ambiguity, self-focus, or communication breakdown, it can lead to distrust, weakened communication, fractured collaboration, higher turnover, and poor performance.
Much of the conflict I've experienced seems to float just below the surface. I feel pushed to conform to the perspectives of my coworkers and keep my actual thoughts secret.
Everyone on a team can have the best intentions, yet conflict can still occur. A lack of communication and unwillingness to compromise can often stand in the way of a team's ability to be productive. Even worse, negative conflict can also lead to bullying, harassment, or even discrimination.
I feel like there's very little engagement or cohesiveness on our team, which means we often don't feel like a team at all. There's no safe way to express disagreement, and often it feels as if there's no overarching strategy.
I've experienced conflict with a coworker who has expressed unwillingness to work with African Americans. Complaints to supervisors have been completely ineffective. I don't know how I'm supposed to deal with this situation.
I've been an employee here for 17 years, and my experience has varied widely depending on how my supervisor handled conflict. With some supervisors, I felt like I was being punished for everything that went wrong on any project. With others, though, I felt like challenges were treated as an opportunity to learn.
Although upper management may have good intentions in encouraging everyone to embrace diversity and work together, after training or a seminar, we all go back to work and the old behaviors emerge again.
I've personally experienced tension between people of different backgrounds or cultures in my department. It's certainly not easy to overcome these challenges and create a harmonious environment for everyone.
The misconception is that all conflict is negative. It's not. Conflict can be positive. It can be ultimately constructive. Conflict can cause people to consider different ideas and alternatives. It can result in better decision-making, increased participation, increased understanding, and more commitment to the decisions and goals of the group. Positive conflict also enables team members to feel like they can disagree or offer differing opinions or ideas without the fear of retaliation or other negative repercussions. And most importantly, positive conflict can teach us to set stereotypes aside and approach the conflict with open-minded respect for all. The truth is, conflict is inevitable, but it doesn't have to be destructive. Conflict can be a stepping stone to developing stronger relationships, better solutions, and brighter ideas. Conflict can help us strengthen our common thread.